Visiting Cambridge University was one of the most inspiring experiences of my life. I had always admired the institution from afar, its reputation as one of the world's most prestigious universities preceding it. So, when the opportunity arose for me to visit, I couldn't pass it up. The anticipation was palpable as I made my way to the iconic city of Cambridge, home to some of the brightest minds throughout history. As I arrived in Cambridge, the first thing that struck me was the beautiful architecture. The ancient buildings, with their Gothic spires and ornate stonework, gave the place an almost timeless feel. It felt like I had stepped into a different world, one steeped in history and academic brilliance. Walking through the cobbled streets, I could feel the weight of centuries of intellectual achievement. The River Cam meandered through the heart of the city, its tranquil waters reflecting the majestic buildings that lined its banks. One of the first things I did was take a punting tour along the river. As we glided along the water, I listened intently to the guide's stories about the various colleges that make up the university. Each college had its own distinct history, and I was fascinated by the stories of great thinkers who had once walked these grounds. King's College Chapel was my next stop, and it was nothing short of breathtaking. The sheer scale of the chapel, with its soaring fan-vaulted ceiling and towering stained glass windows, left me in awe. I couldn't help but marvel at the craftsmanship and dedication that went into building such a magnificent structure. Standing in the chapel, I felt a deep sense of reverence for the generations of students who had passed through its doors. As I continued exploring, I visited some of the university's libraries, including the famous Cambridge University Library. The sight of endless rows of books, some centuries old, was overwhelming. There was a certain magic in the air, knowing that many groundbreaking ideas had been conceived within these walls. I imagined scholars, deep in thought, poring over ancient texts in pursuit of knowledge. One of the highlights of my visit was seeing Trinity College. The grandeur of the college's great court was awe-inspiring, with its perfectly manicured lawns and imposing buildings. I couldn't help but think of the famous Great Court Run, an annual tradition where students attempt to run around the court in the time it takes for the clock to strike 12. The sense of history and tradition was palpable everywhere I went. I also spent time at St. John's College, which was equally impressive. The Bridge of Sighs, which connects two parts of the college over the River Cam, was a striking feature. Its Gothic design and the way it framed the river made it one of the most picturesque spots in Cambridge. I stood there for a while, taking in the serenity of the scene, feeling connected to the history that surrounded me. The people I met during my visit were equally remarkable. Cambridge attracts individuals from all corners of the globe, and the diversity of thought and experience was evident in every conversation I had. Students, faculty, and tourists alike shared a passion for learning and a deep appreciation for the university's legacy. It was refreshing to be surrounded by such enthusiasm for knowledge. I took the time to visit the Cambridge Science Center, where the university's contributions to science are celebrated. Seeing the groundbreaking discoveries made by Cambridge alumni, from DNA to quantum mechanics, was humbling. The atmosphere was charged with curiosity, and it reinforced just how much this institution has shaped the world we live in today. As I wandered the grounds, I couldn't help but think about the many famous figures who had walked these very paths. From Isaac Newton to Charles Darwin, the intellectual giants who once called Cambridge home were ever present in my thoughts. It was surreal to be in a place that had nurtured so much brilliance. One evening, I attended a lecture open to the public. The topic was neuroscience, and the speaker was a world-renowned expert in the field. As I sat there, surrounded by eager students and fellow visitors, I felt a sense of awe at being part of such an intellectually stimulating environment. The lecture was both enlightening and thought-provoking, leaving me with a newfound appreciation for the complexity of the human brain. During my time at Cambridge, I also explored the Fitzwilliam Museum. The museum's collection of art and antiquities was staggering, with pieces spanning centuries and cultures. From Egyptian artifacts to Renaissance paintings, the exhibits were a testament to human creativity and the pursuit of beauty. It was a reminder that knowledge comes in many forms, not just through books and lectures. One of my most memorable moments was visiting the Eagle Pub, a historic spot where scientists Francis Crick and James Watson announced their discovery of the structure of DNA. Sitting there, I imagined the excitement and sense of accomplishment they must have felt in that very room. It was a tangible connection to one of the most important scientific discoveries of the 20th century. As I strolled through the university's botanic garden, I found myself reflecting on the incredible experience I was having. The garden was a peaceful oasis, filled with an impressive array of plants from around the world. It was a perfect place to unwind and take in the natural beauty of the area. I found a quiet bench and sat for a while, absorbing the tranquility. I also had the opportunity to visit some of the modern facilities at the university, including the Cavendish Laboratory, where many significant advancements in physics have been made. It was fascinating to see how Cambridge blends tradition with innovation, maintaining its historic roots while pushing the boundaries of scientific discovery. One afternoon, I ventured into a local bookstore that specialized in academic texts. The shelves were filled with books on every conceivable subject, and I spent hours browsing through them. The sheer volume of knowledge housed in that small shop was incredible. I left with a few books, excited to dive into new topics and expand my understanding of the world. As my visit came to an end, I made my way to the University of Cambridge's Senate House, the site of many important ceremonies, including the university's graduation ceremonies. The grandeur of the building, with its classical columns and ornate design, was a fitting symbol of the university's stature. Standing there, I felt a deep sense of admiration for the institution and its role in shaping the future. Before leaving, I took one last walk along the River Cam, soaking in the atmosphere one final time. The peacefulness of the water, the beauty of the surrounding architecture, and the knowledge that I was walking in the footsteps of so many great minds left a lasting impression on me. It was a place that inspired thought, creativity, and the pursuit of knowledge in its purest form. Leaving Cambridge, I felt a mix of emotions. I was sad to go, but also incredibly grateful for the experience. The visit had left me with a renewed sense of purpose and a deep appreciation for the power of education. Cambridge had shown me that learning is a lifelong journey, one that can take us to incredible places if we are willing to embrace it fully. As I boarded the train to leave, I reflected on the people, places, and moments that had made the trip so special. Cambridge University is more than just an institution. It's a living, breathing entity that continues to shape the world in profound ways. My visit there was a reminder of the importance of curiosity, of asking questions, and of never being satisfied with easy answers. Even now, as I think back on my time at Cambridge, I am filled with a sense of wonder. It was a place where history and innovation coexisted, where tradition was respected but not allowed to stifle progress. I left Cambridge with more questions than answers, but that, I realized, was the point. In many ways, my visit to Cambridge was a personal turning point. It reignited my passion for learning and inspired me to approach life with a sense of intellectual curiosity. The memories of that trip will stay with me forever, a reminder of the magic that happens when you surround yourself with knowledge, history, and the relentless pursuit of understanding. As the train pulled away from the station, I knew I would return someday. Cambridge had left an indelible mark on me, and I looked forward to the day when I could once again walk through its storied halls, soaking in the wisdom of the ages.